Do. Welcome, travelers. Welcome. Greetings. Welcome there. Welcome to Bible study, devotional, BMX, flatland learning. Today, we will be covering the aspects of getting more into learning the mysteries of God's Word, as well as learning the mysteries and frustrations of learning flatland BMX, which it has been a test of my patience, but overall, I think it's been worth it. It's been way worth it. It sounds weird. These streams probably seem completely boring to watch. I actually don't even know why anybody's really watching these things, to be honest. But the thing is that the flatland style riding, it's at this point, it's very rewarding for some reason, even if it seems boring to everybody else, right? I think a lot of people think it's boring, but to me, I find it just so hard. I find the challenge. It's at this point I find the challenge more fun than and it's just a test of your patience, and it's a test of your. It's very interesting, and it sounds strange, but it feels like an RPG game, right? Like the RPG game, you have your talent trees or whatever, right? And you know how if you unlock an ability, and if you don't have that first ability, you can't get to the other, abilities. It feels like that, right? And it's strange because, like, as I start getting deeper and deeper into flatland, I can actually see other flatland styles now, and I go, oh, okay, they were maybe influenced by that dude, or like they learned those tricks really well, and that unlocked an entire like gate for them to learn all these other different tricks, right? And then there's some people that are really front wheel heavy, or really back wheel heavy, or just trying to do both, right? I like to do both, but yeah, Anyway, we're gonna get into a Bible study. Whoop! Bible study. By the way, I'm gonna say, anybody that's streaming out there, I see you guys. I mean, I don't watch all you guys' streams all the time. There's a lot of you guys, there's many of you guys, right? But you guys' Bible study devotionals, man, you guys keep me going. Yeah, you guys are inspiring. It's interesting, like, when there's like a collective, I'm not even saying you guys are in the same denomination or whatever. It's just inspiring seeing people read the Word a lot, right? And they're doing it consistently. I think that's what's really inspiring to see, is when people are doing something like consistently. And I'm like, man, you guys are doing it too. I'm like, okay, I guess I'll give it a shot, right? We could try. So now we're 400, and I think this is stream 481. So yeah, I think what would be cool is I have seen some streamers, and they have like this giant like projector TV thing. And how crazy would it be if this entire garage is just a TV screen thing, and like you could change the background, right? Like, all right, we're gonna be over here. Actually, maybe that would be kind of lame, but I guess that would be kind of cheesy, right? Oh well. Yeah, but I think that would be kind of cool, right? Well, let's see here. What was I gonna do? Oh yeah, we're gonna get into scripture. I kind of brought up the scripture already that we're gonna go into. I don't think I've actually done a Bible study, or I haven't really looked up commentaries or something on this one. It's a very famous one. I think most people have heard this one in some degree, right? Or if you're like a believer, if you're a believer, you probably have heard these scriptures, right? They're inspiring, but I've never really looked into a commentary on it. So let's get into it, right? It's Isaiah 40, 30 through 31. This is the KJV version, by the way. Even the youths shall faint and be weary, and the young men shall utterly fall. But they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings as eagles. They shall run and not be weary, and they shall walk and not faint. I think that one's a very interesting one, right? I think one of the things that trips me out about this verse, in particular, Isaiah 40:31 is in the middle of it. They shall mount up with wings as eagles. Now, take this with a grain of salt. This is how I've come to thing, there's been some artwork that I've seen, and some people go, why does that person have wings or something like that, right? Well, sometimes I wonder if not only maybe there's a sense of spiritual wings, right? And then there's the sense of actual wings, because I know some angels like mentioned. Actually, I don't even think they're angels. That one thing. What I've been noticing is a lot of people I think have been confusing the four living creatures with angels, right? And I think the four living creatures are something different than angels, right? Because the four living creatures do have wings, and it's like the four living creatures. We're gonna have to get into that too. That's such a strange. I mean, imagine this. In Ezekiel, it says something about the four living creatures. They have four faces. Imagine seeing one head, and it has four faces, man. It has a face of a man, I think. Take it with a grain of salt. I'm not looking at it right now. It's a face of a man, a face of an ox, a face of a lion, and a face of an eagle. Like all four, like on one head. So that's the head of this creature, right? And then it has like four wings, right? I think something like that. On the wings, there's like a bunch of eyeballs. Just a bunch of eyeballs. Like how gnarly is that, right? A bunch of eyeballs. They have like cloven hoofs that are like burning bronze or something like that. Color of burning bronze. I think they have says something about like they can control the thunder, lightning or something. And then there's like wheels, something about the four living creatures, the spirits are in the wheels. And then it almost kind of goes in the whole thing of like, now this, I've never heard anybody say this, right? But, in the scripture, in a lot of the old Christian artwork, how there's a lot of people and they have like the halos. Well, there's actually like two different types of halos, right? There's the halo, well, you'll see it and it's like behind them, right? And it just kind of looks like this wheel right here. See how that wheel's just like that? And then like there would be somebody like in front of it, and then like that wheel's like in the back, kind of almost behind them. And then there's the halo where it looks like, kind of looks like the halo on top of a person, right? Like kind of like that above their head, right? And what's weird is in Ezekiel 1, it says something about like the spirit of the living creatures was in the wheels. Let me just bring it up. I guess the reason why I'm bringing this up is because this one's also mentioning wings, right? What was I gonna put? The spirit, the spirit of the living creatures was in the wheels. This one always kind of tripped me out. I think it'd be interesting if somebody like made like a BMX part or even like a skateboard part or something, like Ezekiel's wheels or something like that, or the spirit of the four living creature wheels, and they have eyeballs all around them or something like that. Okay, it says right here. Let's read the KJV. Whithersoever the spirit was to go, they went. Thither was their spirit to go, and the wheels were lifted up over against them. For the spirit of the living creature was in the what? I didn't say that. Was in the wheels, right? It was in the wheels, right? And it's so strange because sometimes I wonder if you see some of the depictions of the wheels, it kind of looks like the wheels are kind of like put together like that, right? And sometimes I wonder like if that inspired, just this story right here, inspired any artist to be like, you know what, a halo kind of looks like a wheel, right? I mean, at this point, I don't know, take that with a grain of salt, but sometimes when I see halos, I'm like, I wonder if that, like in old Christian art, I go, I wonder if that artist was inspired by some of these verses, right? And what's also weird is about these verses right here about the spirit of the four living creatures. So there's the spirit of the four living creatures, right? But there's also the Holy Spirit, right? Which is very, very, very strange to me, which I've never heard any pastor really say, right? But I don't know, it's in there, so it's very odd, right? Okay, so this is the NLT, or let's see, what does the ESV say? Wherever the Spirit wanted to go, they went, and the wheels rose along with them. For the spirit of the living creatures was in the wheels. Intriguing, huh? Yeah, but that whole creature thing is very interesting, and supposedly they are mentioned in Revelations, by the way. Actually, when the four horsemen get cast out, they say something that the four living creatures, like speak upon them or something like that, which is very weird. And supposedly the four living creatures are the creatures closest to God's throne. Like, how crazy is that, right? And it's weird because, like, I feel like I've never really heard many pastors go, you know what, maybe we should be taking heed to any of what these creatures are saying in Revelations, right? I've never heard a single pastor really say anything about that, right? But in my own opinion, when I think, well, these creatures are the closest creatures to God's throne, if the text is correct and what people say is correct. If these are the creatures closest to God's throne, you think that we would maybe be taking heed to any of the things that they say, right? Like, I don't know, that's just me, but maybe not me, but there's probably a lot of people that think that too, but I don't really hear many people talk about it. Anyway, enough of that. That was so strange. I went on with Isaiah, and I did not think I was going to get into Ezekiel, but we did. Let's see here. Isaiah 40, let me look it up. Isaiah 40, 30 through 31. Isaiah 40, 30 through 30. Actually, we just look up 31, right? 31 commentary. It's going to be interesting. I have not read a commentary on this one. I'm going to assume that they're pretty long, right? Let's see here. Let's the Bible Hub one. Now that's weird. That's very, very strange. Generally, Bible Hub is the one that comes up first, or did I just pass it? Oh wait, yeah, I did pass it. Oops. Generally, it's the one that comes up first for commentaries, right? Okay, let's read Ellicott's commentary. Very short. It's basically only a paragraph. They that wait upon the Lord. The waiting implies, of course, the expectant attitude of faith. Shall mount up with wings. Better shall lift up their wings, or shall put forth wings feathers. The last, like Psalms 103:5, implying the belief that the eagle renewed its plumage in extreme old age. For the faithful there is no failure, and faith knows no weariness. Psalms 103. See, that's strange. Now that's the combo he found. See, I kind of comboed it out with Ezekiel, which honestly, that's not a very good combo. The only reason why I thought of that combo is because in Ezekiel it mentions wings. Oh yeah, that's why I brought it up, because of the wings, right? Because of the wings. You know, the other thing is I started drawing a lot of like the armor of God things, and then sometimes I would put like wings on it, and some people go, well, was that an angel? And I go, well, it's not really maybe an angel, but it's kind of more like just inspired by Isaiah 40:31, right? Because it mentions like, you know, you should mount up with wings, right? So I think there's different types of wings, right? But there's also some Psalms actually that mention like the Lord's wings as well. Like he will like shield you with his wings or something like that. Okay, so what does Psalms 103 say? Psalms 103 says, who satisfieth thy mouth with good things, so that thy youth is renewed like the eagles. Renewed youth. Okay, we'll read another commentary. Matthew Henry's concise commentary. Next one under. The people of God are reproved for their unbelief and distrust of God. Honestly, that happens to me a lot. Honestly, I lose trust a lot of times because of the ways of the world, things that people say to me. It makes me start questioning God. It makes me start getting anxiety, even though the scriptures say we're not supposed to be in anxiety. Sometimes that stuff happens to me a lot. Actually, this happens to me over and over and over again, actually. It's this thing that constantly keeps happening. I wonder when it's going to eventually stop, right? But yeah, I think it's because there's this sense of thinking about the future, anxiety, how we've been raised so much to think about tomorrow. Very interesting, right? Yeah, so anyway, that's a whole nother topic. Okay. But we're trying to get healed from it, right? And we can heal ourselves with the word. Okay. Let them remember they took the names Jacob and Israel from one who found God faithful to him in all his straits. And they bore these names as a people in covenant with him. Many foolish frets and foolish fears would vanish before inquiry into the causes. It is bad to have evil thoughts rise in our minds, but worse to them that worse turn to them into evil words. That is very, 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 very important. Let me read that again. It is bad to have evil thoughts rise in our minds, but worse to turn them into evil words, right? It reminds us of James. We've done like 5 Bible studies on the tongue, right? The tongue, our words. We need to be careful with our words. And even in James, we're not going. You could bring it. You could look it up. It's like James 3, I think. It's like James 3:12 or something. It's somewhere in James 3 or 2, and it talks about like a small rudder. Our tongue is like a small rudder. Wherever it wills, we can direct it. A lot of animals. I think it says every animal has been controlled by the tongue, and humans can control animals with their tongue by us giving them food, right? And the thing about it is that James even goes into saying something along the lines of something about the fires of hell. We can actually even we can almost have a feeling and a taste of what the fires of hell are like from how we use our words and stuff. And also, our words can either bless people or they can curse people. And we got to be careful of that stuff, right? Curses are real. And this kind of reminds me of like a curse almost, And I think I know I've said this many times, right? When we bring up the word curse, like what James brings up, he brings up the word curse. Curses are blessings, and we curse those who are made in the likeness of God, or something like that, right? And now curses, we did a Bible study. We looked up the definitions and stuff of curses, right? And curses, I think if we were to talk to most people, they'd be like, oh, it's just a curse word, right? Well, there is that, right? There are curse words and stuff. And by the way, I've said this before, but some people say, well, why don't I curse and stuff like that? Well, I think the big one is a lot of other Christians don't curse, so I think that is also why I kind of don't do it as much now. I still end up cursing at times, right? I'd like to say I try not to curse, but there are some times where, it just comes out sporadically, sometimes where I don't think about it. But one of the big reasons why I don't curse is because I used to work at Woodward, right? I used to work at Woodward West over in California, Tehachapi, and you would get in trouble if you used curse words at camp, right? They literally called them using your wood words. It's kind of funny because the camp's called Woodward, right? So it's like wood ward, which I don't actually know what ward means. Ward, what does ward mean? I don't even know. But word, right? So we had to use it, and if you got caught like cursing, you can get in trouble and stuff, right? So you had to, be careful. And also, I used to work with this guy, Dustin T. Orem, which actually inspired me a lot. It was weird because when I worked there, I was kind of like a believer. Like, I've read some books, but I wasn't like fully into it, right? And when I first got to Woodward, there was this dude, like literally the first day I worked there was this dude, his name's Dustin T. Orem. He does like a ministry or something, and he does he travels around and stuff, and he rides BMX and stuff, which is really cool. But first day I got there, like he was always kind of like, he wasn't like a boss per se, but he was kind of like a higher up, right? So he was like, you kind of didn't want to get on his bad side or something like that, right? So that's the thing, and he was always just chill. Nobody ever really got on his bad side because he was like a BMX instructor or something like that. But yeah, he's a really cool dude. You could check him out. He does like a ministry thing. Let's see here. Where are we at? We're talking about words. I don't know how we got into all this other stuff. Oh well. What they had known and had heard was sufficient to silence all the fears and distrusts. Where God had begun the work of grace, He will perfect it. He will help those who in humble dependence on Him help themselves. As the day, so shall the strength be. In the strength of divine grace, their souls shall ascend above the world. They shall run the way of God's commandments cheerfully. Let us watch against unbelief, pride, and self-confidence. If we go forth in our own strength, we shall faint and utterly fall. But having our hearts and hopes in heaven, we shall be carried above all difficulties and be enabled to lay hold of the prize of our high calling in Christ Jesus. Okay, there's that one. About Matthew Pohl's commentary. Matthew Pohl's commentary is pretty short. That wait upon the Lord, that rely upon him for strength to bear their burdens and for deliverance from them in due time, shall renew their strength, shall grow stronger and stronger in faith and patience and fortitude. I love that word, fortitude. There's even that pre-spell in WoW. It's called what is it? Power word fortitude. And you know what that does? It increases your health and stamina. Whereby they shall be more than conquerors over all their enemies and adversities. They shall mount up with wings as eagles, which fly mostly strong and swiftly and high out of the reach of all danger. Now that's strange that he said it like that, right? See, it's weird because when I read that, I was like, yeah, so maybe these are like spiritual wings, right? But it's kind of weird that no other commentary has brought up that. Just weird, right? They shall run and not be weary, and they shall walk and not faint. They shall be enabled to run or walk in their way as they please without any weariness. Zeal and energy, right? Okay, let's see here. Should we read Gill's exposition? This one's a pretty long one. We're going to read it. We might as well, huh? Might as well read it. But they that wait upon the Lord... Let me see if this is even working. Okay, it's still working. But they that wait upon the Lord, as children on their parents, to do them honor, to obey their commands, and receive food and blessings from them, as servants on their masters, to know their pleasure, do their work, and have their wages, as clients on their patrons, to advise of them. Put their cause into their hands, and know how it goes. And as beggars at the door, who knock and wait, tell their case and wait. Meet with repulses, yet keep their place, and can continue waiting. Such an act supposes a knowledge and reverence of God, confidence in him, attendance on him, not with the body only, in public and private, but with the soul also, and with some degree of consistency or constancy. That's so funny. That is so funny, dude. I did not pre-plan this out. It's just so hilarious that I started the stream off. I'm like, man, you guys that are consistent, you guys are inspiring me. And then this guy brings up the same word. It's just hilarious, right? I'm just like, whoa, that's weird. And with patience and quietness, the Lord is to be waited upon for the manifestations of himself, who sometimes hides himself, but is to be waited for, since he has set time to show himself again, and his presence is worth waiting for. Also for the performance of his promises, which may be expected from his perfections, the nature of his promises and their being in Christ, likewise for answers of prayer, and for the fresh discoveries of pardoning grace and mercy. And as Old Testament saints waited for the first coming of Christ, so New Testament saints for his second coming, and the eternal glory and happiness, and such shall renew their strength, which is to be understood of the spiritual, strength in the heart, and of the graces of the Spirit there. It supposes strength received already, which natural men have not, but converted men have, and yet they want more, and more they have, and more they shall have, to assist them in performance of duty, to enable them to resist Satan and his temptations, and the corruptions of nature, and to cause them to endure afflictions and persecutions, patiently, and to persevere unto the end. They shall mount up with wings as eagles, swiftly and strongly. It is expressive of the motion of the affections heavenwards towards God and Christ, and things above, on the entrance of faith and hope within the veil, and of the exercise of these graces of Christ, who is now at the right hand of God, of the expectation of glory and happiness in heaven, hereafter, and present support under afflictions, the Lord bearing them as on eagle's wings,
See Psalms 103:5. They shall run and not be weary in the way of God's commandments, which show great affection for them. Haste to obey them, delight and pleasure cheerfulness, and alacrity therein, so as to be without weariness. And they shall walk and not faint in the ways of God, in the name of the Lord or in Christ, as they have received him, leaning on him, trusting in him, continuing to do so, till they receive the end of their faith, the salvation of their souls, and so shall not sink under their burdens, nor give out till they enjoy it. Different persons, though all of them believers, may be here intended, particularly Christians under the gospel dispensation, tried and exercised by many enemies. Some shall soar aloft and dwell on high. Others, though they cannot rise and fly so swiftly and strongly, yet they shall run without weariness. And others, though they can neither fly nor run, yet shall walk without fainting. Kind of thinking that they would go deeper into the wings part, right? I'm surprised like none of them went into, I mean, they did cover like Psalms 103:5, right? But you think, I guess that's the other thing. When I think of wings, I think of so many other things. You know, I think of the angels, I think of the four living creatures, I think of, you know, I wonder if there's some symbology, is that a word? Symbolism. Symbology. Is symbology even a word? I think it's just symbolism, right? Let's look at like wings, symbolism, Bible. I wonder what's going to come up if we see that. The other thing is the other thing I hear always is when people play the paladin in WoW anyway, everybody gets like wings, and you know. Anyway, let's see here. Wings. What do wings symbolize? Wings as we know them are an illustration of the possibilities of flying and rising. They signify lightness and to a large extent the spirituality of beings that bear them. But what do wings symbolize in the Bible? Humans have always aspired to grow in stature higher than those, and wings capture just that, an expression of the soul towards a condition that is higher than human. Reading through the Bible, one can't help but take note of the instances where wings are mentioned. They always bring up lofty concepts such as imagination, cognitive facility, victory, and freedom. Whether you read about God's protection over his people by covering them with the shadow of his wings, or about the winged creatures as explained by the prophet Ezekiel, there is a lot of symbolism in wings. In the section... Wait a minute. Okay, let's see. Wait, is this even going into it? Vitality and strength. The Bible talks of the empowering ability of God on his people. This empowerment can take different forms and explain using different objects. In Isaiah 40:31, the Bible says, "But those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not faint." It refers to the people who trust and serve the Lord, that God will renew their strength in the walk of faith. Believing in God and the journey of faith needs spiritual empowerment and enlightening. Without the vitality and strength expected of a Christian, it can be tough trying to maneuver. God, through Jesus Christ, is the strengthening power behind Christians. In Psalms 29:11, the Bible records that the Lord gives strength to his people. The Lord blesses his people with peace. This is proof that indeed the Lord is the strength-giving power behind those who wait on him. God's protection. The world we are living in today is characterized by both physical and spiritual forces. While the physical is visible, the spiritual is not visible, at least to the naked eye. For humans to navigate both realms, they need direction and protection. The Bible uses allegory of God's covering his people with wings to mean divine protection. That's a paladin spell. That's divine protection, huh? In Psalms 91:4, the Bible notes that he will cover you with his pinions, and under his wings you will find refuge. And faithfulness is a shield and buckler. Every time I read that psalm, I always just think of like some dude just dual wielding shields. Dude, that'd be crazy. It'd be crazy to. It'd be so funny if you could like do that in a class, right? Dual wield shields. You have one buckler and you have an actual shield. Like imagine that. You have one little shield that's like, you know, the little bucklers are really little, right? Bucklers are little, and then you have just this giant just tower shield or something. That would be hilarious to see. That would be an interesting character. For you to be under the wings of God, he must be above you or hovering at a height higher than where you are. Still in Psalm 17:8, the Bible says something a little different. Still involving wings, it says, "Keep me as the apple of your eye. Hide me in the shadow of your wings." It introduces an aspect of whether wings are used to block some light, so as a shadow is cast on the object being protected. Looking at Psalms 121:5-6, the aspect of protection comes out very clearly. The Bible reads, "The Lord himself watches over you. The Lord stands beside you as your protective shade. The sun will not harm you by day, nor the moon by night." In Ruth 2:12, the Bible also alludes to the fact that wings of God are a refuge to those who seek it. It is that point of safety where those who are tormented by the issues of the world can run to for solace. And you know, it's kind of weird. It's like after reading this commentary, right, about wing, or this symbology of wings. Now, see, I'm wondering, like, would it be okay for me to illustrate, like, because you know how, like, lions are mentioned, like Proverbs 28:1, you know, the wicked flee the no in pursuit, but the righteous are as bold as lion. You know, it's like the lion of the tribe of Judah, you know, stuff like that, right? Like, things of the mentioning of lions, right? Like, would I get in trouble? Like, I mean, I guess, I don't know, I guess I could just draw it anyway, but, like, sometimes, what if I were to draw, like, a character, like a lion-looking character, wearing the armor of God with wings? Like, how crazy would that be, huh? That would be an interesting character. Imagine seeing that, and then he just has like a shield and a buckler. Man, that'd be an interesting character, huh? Man, that'd be a trippy character to see, huh? I'm just thinking about it because I've never really, you know, you've seen like the cat looking people, right? You know, like the cat creature got people, like but I've never really like seen one with wings before, or even just like a lion with wings, right? Like that'd be an interesting, character. In the Old Testament, back to commentary. In the Old Testament, Ezekiel the prophet describes the great eagle that has expansive wings of diverse colors. This is an illustration of the Babylonian kingdom that had spread its influence over many nations and cultures. At that time, the Babylonian kingdom had also made exploits winning battles over the other kingdoms. In the book of Jeremiah 48:40 and Jeremiah 49:22, the eagle is mentioned again, and in this case, just like in Ezekiel, represents King Nebuchadnezzar. Symbolizes the instruments of God's war. God is a warrior and a God of battle. In the book of Psalms 18:10, the Bible records, "He rode upon a cherub and flew, and he sped upon the wings of the wind." God uses a cherub and the wings of the wind as his transport mechanism. God is a rapid responder when his servants are in dire need of help. In the instance, God comes to the rescue of David from his enemies. Being a divine God, he uses divine means of intervention. In the book of Psalms 104:3, the same is repeated. "And lays the beams of his upper chambers on their waters. He makes the clouds his chariot and rides on the wings of the wind." Man. It sounds so weird because there's like, when I read that, wings of the wind, huh? And it's so strange because there's like that one, there's like that one spell, and there's like a bunch of wings that's like surrounded. It's like, it really almost reminds me of it. The book of Ezekiel talks about the winged creatures to mean God's angels that surround the throne. I thought that was the four living creatures. Why do they call them angels? I mean, maybe some other interpretations call them angels, but I thought it was the four living creatures. Anyway, in all the verses of the Bible where wings are mentioned, they symbolize something deeper and spiritual. Whether it is a depiction of angels, God instruments of war, the expansiveness of a kingdom, and influence or God's protection, the Bible is never silent. There are many other meanings of the wings in the Bible, but the ones discussed here are the main ones. Wings. Intriguing. Wow, there's that. Oh, you know what? Maybe that's what we should go into. I think this is actually the first time I really went into like seeing, like looking into like symbolism, right? Because actually now when I go in and I put wings, what did I write? I wrote wings, symbolism, Bible, right? Man, that is just a whole other realm we haven't even went into. Symbolism in the Bible. It's so, because we read a lot of the commentaries. I know they bring up their own symbolism and stuff, but I've never like looked up I've looked up some, right? But we never really went into it in the Bible study. So maybe that's a whole thing. Maybe we could go into like a whole like symbolism Bible study thing, right? Looking into words and stuff like that. Very interesting. Okay, well, this is actually the first one. I should have read this one, actually. This is the very first one that comes up. Biblical references to the wings of birds are common, especially in Psalms, many of them exquisitely poetically. Often the wings of an eagle are mentioned because they are from the 7 to 9 feet in sweep, of untiring flight, and have strength to carry heavy burdens. So they became the symbol of strength and endurance. And you know what's also kind of weird now? I don't know if this is some sort of sign or something, or just some sort of weird thing, but what's weird is I have noticed a lot of believers, they like either ride like BMX or something like that, they end up like doing a lot of like no-handed tricks. I know it kind of seems like, like it's kind of like you're making a cross or something like that, but maybe it also kind of symbolizes something of like wings or something, right? Right? I don't know. Okay, so I guess that was a Bible study today. All right, let's do a card draw. Let's see what we draw today. Let me cut this actually. Let's cut it. Cut. Cut. Did I just flip them over? Oh my goodness, I think I did. Here, wait up. I think I just flipped some over backwards. I guess I didn't. That's what this one was. Okay, now let's shuffle it. So maybe that's what we should do. I guess that was the quest we were already on, right? We're still on the quest to maybe try, or maybe attempt, right, to learn as many flatland tricks, or BMX tricks in general, that kind of resemble a cross, or wings, or something like that, right? I think the easiest one, so if you guys are listening, if you guys are this far in, you guys want to learn flatland BMX, I think the easiest no-handed trick, besides riding and doing a no-hand trick, I literally think this one's actually safer, is doing the track stand no-hander. That one, that one's probably the safest no-handed BMX trick you could probably learn. I'm thinking, right? Besides the one where you just ride and sit down and take off your hands, right? I think the track stand is actually even safer, because you're actually not really moving, right? Because if you You know, if you are riding and you take your hands off, I mean, you know, bars can just go whoop, and you could just, you know, flip over. But the track stand no hander, it's like, you know, you're kind of just still. The worst thing that's probably going to happen is the bike's going to shoot out below you, and you're just going to step over, or you might just put your hands out or something. But so. Okay, shovel, shovel, shuffle. What is the combo we are gonna get today? Shovel, shovel, shovel. Okay, I think it's pretty shuffled now. Let's do one more in the middle, put it on the top. Okay, now let's cut it. Cards at the top are the ones that we're going to draw. Let me do this on my Insta. The card draw of the day. Oops. Wrong one. Okie dokie. Let's see here. Greetings, travelers. Welcome to the card draw of the day. What is it going to be? Whoop. Bro, I've drawn this forest like... I think I've drawn this forest like 3 times for the first card. Oh well. That was the first card of the day. Okay. This is first. I've drawn this a lot, actually. It's cool, though. It's a humble forest, right? Looks cool. Man, it does look cool, doesn't it? It's actually a really cool forest. I don't know why I was like hoping for something, you know. I don't know, but honestly, this is actually a really gnarly forest. It really is. A lot of trees. Okay, second card. Ooh, Bant Sureblade. Looks gnarly. Another Michael Cormack illustrated card. Third. Ooh, Angel of Vitality. Angel of Vitality. That one has wings, huh? Number 4. Another forest. 5. Ooh, another plains. Okay, okay. Next. Oh, another plains. Wow. This is a land-heavy set today. Usually rare to see this. 7. Ooh, Noble Panther. Okay. Interesting. Huh. Noble Panther. This one just reminds me of like nature versus artificial intelligence. I know a lot of artists are tripping out on artificial intelligence. You know what I say to say? Let's just draw on paper. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, last card. Stoneforge Mystic. Stoneforge Mystic. Okay. Okie dokie. Okay, let's see here. Okay, the hand for today. Forest. Bant Sureblade. Angel of Vitality. Forest. Plains. Plains. Noble Panther. And Stoneforge Mystic. Card's cool. But also this one's weird that we drew today. I know I said that I know I brought this one up the other day, maybe a week ago or something. But man, every single day I've been seeing stuff about AI, right? When this card come out? 2000. 22 years ago, this guy painted this, right? And look at that skull looking thing. It's like, I don't know. Every time I see the artwork on this thing, it just reminds me of like nature versus artificial intelligence or something. Noble Panther. Anyway, try your best and have fun, everybody. Continue learning. All right, we're done with that. Let's see how long we've been doing this for. Okay. Where's my coffee at? Be right back. Okay, let's do this. You know what, maybe I should learn that one. There's actually a ride out for the stick bee. I've tried before. Okay, let's see. What do I have a combo I want to actually try and land today? I kind of want to do like maybe a backwards hang 10 no-hander. You work on funky chicken tail whips. I know the funky chicken tail whip's going to take a while, but
back a little bit. Okay. Right there. Let's see if I can do multiplier. I know fire hydrants are so frustrating, but they're really, really fun. I did land a sketchy quad yesterday. Oh my goodness, I thought that was going to be it. I'm wondering, like, what other combos can you do in that, huh? Huh. Oh, you know what I haven't been trying? Bro, I haven't been trying the upside down tail whip. Dude. I think today might be upside down tail whip day. Where's my seat at? Bro, I have not been practicing this trick. Was I doing it on the seat? I can't remember. Oh wait, that's why I stopped doing it, because I kept messing up my seats. Let's see what we do that. You know, let's actually just warm up first before I get into that one. Because that one's definitely going to take some effort. Should we do hang 5 squeaker, hang 5, hang 10, no hanger? Oh my God, come on. Oh, come on. This trick's actually kind of hard. I can't get it to hold. Dude, I actually held that one for a little bit, huh? I did shoot you my. Oh, that actually kind of held. Nice. My phone's kind of like not angled right. I think it's like level, huh? How can I get this trick done? How do they do it so consistently, man? I don't understand. It's like I could do 2, but getting past 2 is hard. Like in a consistently aspect, right? I can do 2 pretty consistently, right? But getting past the 2 is hard. I think maybe it's just my muscle memory. Maybe my muscle memory is just so used to just doing 2 that it's just like. Let's try this combo. That one into a pretty long swivel. Actually, let's do it like that. Oh, come on. Whoa, that was weird. I'm bad at the swivels, huh? can do a funky chicken no-hander. Been listening to these same 3 songs for a while.
So Andrea and I went shopping. We got some early Christmas presents for the whole fam. Macy's.
Why can't I land it? And let's try maybe the double fire hydrant one. I was trying that one now I think about it. Double fire hydrant to track stand to swivel stickies. That was so close. Ouch. No worries. I do like this one.
I drew my chest hair into the shape of small animals. It's a squirrel. I don't need to get.
Ah! This was hard.
Okay, let's try to do our best. Let's try to do our best. I know I can land this combo. I just gotta get it all down. All right, double fire hydrant. Let's do this. Okay, double fire hydrant. Get that down. Track stand. Swivel. The swivel's the hard part. Let's get this. I know I can do this combo, I think. No, I haven't landed yet, so. What would be cool is to do a triple fire hydrant. Triple fire hydrant to track stand no-hander swivel. Sticky. It's hard. It's hard to go from the swivel one to the stick beat. You gotta like get that momentum. I actually need to drink some water. I need to get some water. I'm gonna get dehydrated today. Okay, let's read this. What is this guy saying? Daniel chapter 1 part 4. Who will you serve? Josiah 24:15. And Josiah 24:15. And if it seems evil to you to serve the Lord, choose for yourselves this day whom you will serve, whether the gods which your fathers served, that you were on the other side of the river, or the gods of the Amorites in whose land you dwell. But as for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. And we will have a choice to make. Will we serve the Lord? Will we serve the gods of this world, or will we serve the Lord? Jesus says no one can serve two masters, for either he will hate the one or love the other, or he will be loyal to the one and despise the other. You cannot serve God and mammon. Matthew 6:24, which is the same as saying you cannot serve both God and the world. You have to make a choice. The choice is not legalism versus faith. The issue is loyalty to God versus obedience to men and compromise for your convenience sake. This is the time to say, "Oh my Father, as I will, but not as I will, but as you will." Matthew 26:39. Interesting. Huh. Let's just try and keep letting our light shine, right? Even if it's confusing. Just like Matthew 5:16. Even if we fail, right? I wonder what God thinks about our failures. What does God think about our failures? Are we fit to fail in front of people if we were to let our light shine? Ah. Ah, man. These streams are weird, man. Let's just try and land these things. It's so strange that people watch the VODs. Right? It's just odd. Okay, what was I trying? Okay, yeah. Double fire hydrant, track stand, no hander, swivel, full crank swivel, stick beam, bar spin, no hander. How long is this combo gonna take me? I tried it yesterday, right? But I didn't learn it yesterday, so I guess this is day 2. Why can't I get it, bro? It's like right there. Oh, you're kidding me. I gotta get that right swivel, right? You gotta get that right swivel. Like I need to like carve it just a little bit or something. Get a little bit more speed. It's either I'm gonna have to carve it a little bit more, or I'm gonna have to. The problem is when I do the harder scuff, sometimes it like kicks me forward or like makes me lose my balance point. So that's why I kind of do it kind of slow. Swivel's hard. I'm not good at it, man. I'm like right there, but if I could just get the swivel down, I think I would be able to do it, but
is like a mixture of all the tricks. It's hard for me. I don't know if this one's going down today, man. I guess we could try the upside down tail up. Let's try that one. Upside down tail up. Let's go. Let's see here. This one? I think it's this one. This, okay. Right at the bottom. Actually, I'll just mark it. Now I know this one, I've only landed like, actually I think I've only landed one upside down tail whip. I haven't tried it in a long time. I kind of forgot about it. But I have to change my seat out. This is the only reason why I don't really do this trick that much. That's weird. Stuck or something. Dub, 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 dub. And draw more bites. I'm going to push the seat back a little bit. Because it's so much bent on me. Did that thing crack? Oh my goodness, I just cracked the seat. Things like bent on me, man. Oh well. Alright, well let's see if we can do this one. I'm going to film this one actually. This is the upside down tail whip. See if I even remember how to do it. Okay. Oh, darn, it just moved on me. Mm-hmm. Okay, let me see what I remember. Okay, so we did it stick B. Wait a minute, how do I do this? I'm gonna go like this, right? Drop it down. Drop it down, right? I just gotta make sure I do the crank position right. I'm gonna have to like get some more. Oh my goodness, bro! I just cracked my seat. Ah, it's probably because I just left it out here, huh? In the cold. Oh well, we're just gonna go until it just breaks, I guess. Let me just see if I can remember. How do we have... Okay, so if I drop it down like this... Okay, that's how we want our cranks, like that, right? No, we want our cranks like this. Okay, yeah. So we need to make sure we put our cranks like that before we get back into it. Alright, let's see what we can get. This combo's fun. That is just frustrating. But it is fun. It's fun and frustrating at the same time. Okay, let's see if we can do this. Let's go. Oh, I almost did it. Did I just crack my seat again? And I did. This seat's sharp. Might cut me. Oh. It's okay. Forbearance. Patience and forbearance. That's what the hard part is. Just getting that down. I'm gonna get it down now. Do that. Boom, boom, boom. Make sure the cranks are right. Just hop back into it, and we're gonna. I wonder if I could just do. Huh. I did it like this. What if I did that? That's what I'm gonna do actually. We're gonna do like a back upside down no-hander thing. Let's do triple hook no-hander or something like that. Oh, I was gonna put the music on. Okay, so I'm gonna do stick beat. No-hander. My brakes are all messed up. Okay, stick beat no-hander. Oh, that's messed me up. Bring that up. There we go. Okay, stick beat no-hander. To dump truck, drop down, no-hander, upside down no-hander to upside down tail whip to stick beat no-hander. Land. I have not done that combo yet, so if I land it, it will be the first time I've landed it. Oh, come on. I'm not used to the dump truck. Dump down into the upside down thing. I've been doing it a while, so. Let's just start off with this. I think my shoes messed me up. I put that shoe goo on it. Yeah, it's starting to come off. That tail is so hard, man. I guess not that hard, it's just I keep messing it up. I want to actually see that. See what that looks like. Like if the camera's like blurry or something. Bro, if I would have just landed that. Oh, dude, I need to lean forward more. Okay.
Thought this stuff was going to stay on there a little bit longer, but I'm going to have to get new shoes here pretty soon. Holy. All right, here. Let's get back to it. Okay, actually, I need to clean this. Oh, that's why it's all. Wait, did I? It's all messed up. No. Okay. I thought I. Is there a crack in there? I'm gonna have to. You know what I'm gonna start doing? I think I'm gonna start putting a piece of tape over this thing. Just so nothing hits that lens. If I break that lens, bro, it's gonna be mad. This isn't like the craziest one, but I don't want to break my phone, man. Okay, let's go. Back to it. Oh, that was weird. I like stalled it. Why can't I do it today, man? I think this is actually why I gave up on this trick. It's a little hard, but it's also that I'm gonna have to switch out the seat. That's kind of why I gave up on that. Kind of stopped changing the seat up a bit. Oh, wait. We're gonna start off with a no-hander. No-hander intro.
come on. Ah. Why is it so hard? Shouldn't be this hard. Maybe I shouldn't do the no-hander. Just making sure I'm not cracking my frame. Okay, we're not doing the no-handed intro. I think that's just too many no-handers. I think it's messing me up in the beginning because I like put my hands back on the bars and my fingers aren't on the brakes correctly. In the right position. That part's kind of hard because you gotta like get over it and then like balance it out. Oh, I broke my brakes. I just snapped them. Oh, we gotta replace this now. Man, I've been snapping a lot of cables lately. It's probably from all those fire hydrants, actually. Alright, so we gotta do some bike maintenance now. Actually, I don't even think I have another cable. I might have to go get another one. That's why we were messing up. My bike was about to break. Where is my other cable? Another cable. Darn, I think I don't have another cable. You know, I should have got those cables at the friggin' shop. These cables work? What the frick happened to all the cables? think I went through them all. Oh no. Oh man. Right up in here, probably. Yeah. Oh well, it's okay. We'll just go get it. Oh, here we go. Here's another cable. We do have another cable. It was hiding all the way at the top. Okay, well, welcome. Welcome, travelers, to the bike maintenance stream. We're gonna put on a new cable. Just snap one. Okie dokie. Let's see here. Let me put some music on or something. Darn, I was like in it too, bro. Oh, it's okay. No worries. Why isn't this working? Okay, let's fix our bike. We haven't fixed our bike in a while, actually. I guess we'll do some bike maintenance stuff. Yeah. Lost all my tools. Wow. Okay, let's bring this out. Okay, so these are our tools. We're gonna have that. Cable cutter. Let's bring out a piece of paper towel. Let's just make this as a thing. Okay, so what happened is we've used up. Here, wait. I guess before I start, let me get everything ready. I need to make sure I have everything. Okay, that's not everything. We need a couple more tools. Okay, let's see here. So, let me push this up a little bit. There we go. Just so we can see everything in the frame. Okay, there we go. Okay, so let's see here. Let me bring my tools out. So we have this. Where's the other one? Okay, here we go. This. And I think that might be it. Oh, we need one more tool. We need needle nose pliers, which I don't know where they're at. Where are they at? Okay, there. Okay, so I guess we'll begin now. Okay. Welcome, travelers. Today we've had a little mess up. We snapped our brake cable. Snapped our brake cable. What ends up happening is for some odd reason they don't solder these things like correctly, or maybe I just use them up. But see this little nub right here? This thing always like pops out, I generally don't snap the cable like in the middle. I generally just, it's actually not really snapping the cable. It's just snapping this nub thing off, right? And so that's what happened today. What we're going to do is we're going to change these front brakes out, okay? So these are the tools we have. We have crescent wrench. We have 3-in-1 oil. And to not get any oil on the ground, we have a paper towel that you can clean up with, because this stuff will stain your garage floor or carpet, or so if you use that stuff, be careful. If you do get it on the ground, what you can do is you can get a sponge and put some dish soap, and you can, clean it up. So we got the brake cable, which actually this is actually a shifter cable. This is actually a legit brake cable. It's actually a shifting cable, which you can still use it. They're a little bit weaker though. We have needle nose pliers. We have 17 socket for the pegs to get our wheel out. We have some vice grips, and then one of the most important tools is we have the brake cable cutter thing. This is actually a specific brake cable cutter, okay? And what we're going to do is, I guess we'll just start it off. Let me actually put a stream marker on this thing, just so I can know where we're going to cut it off at. Let's see here, sorry. Stream marker, stream manager, add stream marker, there we go. Now we have a little placeholder to where I know where the tick is at. Okay, so we have that. And let's undo these zip ties that are connected on here. We could use our brake cable cutter and cut these off. And then we're going to unravel the brake cable. Okay, so we have our... Now here's actually the weird thing. The shifter cables, they do have two different sides, right? One has this side, and then the other has this nub part. There, you'll see it. There's two different ones. And I think we're going to use this one. That one looks a little bit more... Probably looks like it's going to work a little better, I think. Okay, so what we're going to do, we have that going. Let's see if we can take this off. Let's see. Okay, well that's off. We don't need to change that. We're going to, we use zip ties right here for the forks, because these aren't actually front brake forks. Sometimes if you have front brake forks, they have a little guider thing, and these forks don't have it, so we use zip ties. So we're going to cut these zip ties off of here. Which also, these zip ties are really good if you do a lot of fire hydrants. Keeps your cable out of the way. Needle those pliers. Here. Oh, it's hitting my head. Okay, we got that going. We're going to take the naper off as well. The naper is this thing right here. Now sometimes you can reuse these. I don't know. And by the way, be careful of this thing. If you snap your cable, be careful of these little strands. They could stab you in the eye as well. Be careful of that. All right, take this naper off. Sometimes you can reuse these napers. I don't know if this one is to the point where we can reuse it. I think it's not. I'll show you this. So these things right here, you can sometimes reuse these things. So I'd hold on to them. But that one I think I might have to
that one I don't think I'm going to be able to reuse, so I think I've used it up too much. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to take off our front wheel. And there's actually one more tool I have to bring out. It's actually these, because these are, I have to use these to get this cap off right here. There's actually a pivot cap for flatland tricks. But I've used it up so much, I have to use these like big pliers to unscrew it. It's not that hard though. But this thing is, man, this thing has been through a lot, dude. I can't believe these pegs are even still going, man. Ryan Russell, man, gave me these pegs. These are my first set of flatland pegs. Wheel off. Okay, we have our front wheel off. Bada boom. Bada boom, bada boom. Okay, so now we have the crux of the thing that we need to fix. The front brakes, okay. There are some different tool things that you can put on your brakes, like this thing right here. This is like a barrel adjuster. See this thing? So this thing is a barrel adjuster, and what you do is you slide it onto this part right here, right? And some of these cables that you get, they're actually, these are plastic, right? I don't know why they changed it. These things used to be metal, but sometimes you'll find some that are just plastic. So that's why I like to keep these things. Keep this thing. You can reuse them. That tool right there, or not tool, it's like a little cable end barrel adjuster. Reuse them, and we're going to reuse it on this one. Okay, so what we're going to do next is we're going to undo this bolt right here, right? Because this cable goes through, and this is what smashes the cable so it stays and doesn't slip out, right? So we're going to undo it with our crescent wrench. That. And we have our cable out, right? Now don't throw it away too soon. What we're actually going to do, man, I actually really use this thing up. Look at how bent this thing is. That thing is really, really bent. But don't throw it away too soon. Now we're kind of done on this end, on this aspect of it so far. And now what we're going to do, just this part we can almost mess it up sometimes, so let's move it back again. And, okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to cut off, see how these two things have the nubs right here? See these two nubs? We're going to cut off this nub, okay? We're cutting this thing off. Boop. And what we're going to do is we're going to slide this entire cable out, okay? Be very careful. This is actually kind of somewhat of a delicate process. What you can also do when you're sliding the cable out, just to kind of like do two things at once, is you can oil the cable, you know, just so when you oil it the next time, you already know there's going to be some oil. But be careful, the oil can get on the floor, so that's why we had the paper towel. And so we can do two things at once, right? So when we pull this cable out, we can kind of know that some of the oil is going to be oiling the brake cable itself inside, right? Two things at once.
And let's just bring the paper towel right here. Okay. You see we have this. And we're going to just slide this cable entirely out. Okay. I mean, this stuff's pretty simple, but a lot of people don't run front brakes, so a lot of people don't like brakes actually because you have to work on them, right? And so now we have the cable, right? Now see how long this cable is compared to that cable? Well, we got to cut it, right? So what we're going to do is we are going to take this. Actually, you don't need, well, actually, yeah, you're going to have to. So you're going to take this side off. There's a barrel, there's a cable end houser thing, right? And you get your needle nose pliers, you grab it like this, and pull it off, right? So now you have your cable housing thing, and you're going to save that right there, right? Now if you can tell, I don't know if you can see this cable, oops, but there's actually 3 levels to it, right? There's a, like a silicone plastic housing in the middle. On the outside of it, it's like these, it's a bunch of wires, right? And the wires kind of spin around, and this is the entire cable. And on the outside of the wires is actually plastic. So there's 3 levels to this, brake cable, right? Or the brake cable housing, right? This is actually the cable. This is the housing to it. So what we're going to do is this is actually a very, very important part. Because what we're going to do is we're going to take this old cable. See this old cable? Right here. And see how the size of it? We're going to put the end of this housing right here to the end of this housing. And we're going to just roughly gauge the length of this one, right? So we're going to say, I'm going to roughly gauge it to maybe about right there. I'm going to add a little bit more. Right? So right here is where we're going to have to cut it, right? Now this is the part that you can mess up a lot of cables actually if you don't have the right tool. This is actually a legitimate brake cable cutter thing for specifically bike cables. And it is old, so it's not as sharp as it used to be. We're going to cut it right here, and you want to do it fast and quick, right? So we're going to just, you know, we have it just right here, and we're just going to do it fast and quick, right? And that was actually pretty clean cut. So what can end up happening when you cut this cable, right? Is that what can end up happening is that, actually, let's see here. The right size? Yep, it is. Okay, I was thinking, oh man, that's kind of weird. Okay. So what can end up happening is, you know how I was talking about the housing where there's like all these little wires? Well, sometimes what can happen, and then that plastic one inside, sometimes what can happen is you can smash it, right? So say I was to cut it with this thing right here, right? What it would do is it would smash all these things, and then people bring their cable and they slide it through, and then they go, why doesn't it work, man? Why is it all stuck? It's not working, right? Well, it's because you smashed the all the stuff in the middle, right? So that's why we use brake cable cutters if you can. Now there's actually another there's another tool we kind of need. And wait up, let me find it. There's another tool that kind of comes into handy. Let me find it. Can't use that. I mean, I guess maybe you could use one of these. Lost it. I knew there was more tools I should have got out before I did this. In here, we have another naper in there.
able to use a pencil. Yeah, I might actually have to use a pencil. Let's just try and find this. Wait up. I gotta find like a needle. Thought I had one down here, but I guess I didn't. Screw it, we'll just use a pencil. Okay, so what we're gonna do, I think we could use this. Oh, we can actually use a pen. This will work actually. Where is it? Okay, here it is. I think it'll work. So what ends up happening is this middle layer right here. Sometimes you need to spread it out a little bit more. And what we're going to do, normally I would use a needle, right? But right in this case, I guess we could probably just use a pen. So let's see if the pen will work. Right. And what we're doing is, I don't know if you can really tell, but what I'm doing is this cable in the middle, right? It kind of got smashed a little bit, right? Because these are kind of old. They still work, but they're old, right? So sometimes you have to like go in there and you want to just bend this because you can only imagine